you find it difficult to become immersed in your work throughout the day, it's worth questioning whether your tasks are difficult or complex enough. If your mind is still frequently wandering even after implementing the ideas in the previous chapters, it's a pretty good sign your tasks aren't complex enough and don't consume enough of your attentional space. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you find you're anxious at work even after taming distractions and working with more intention, consider whether your current skills are a good match for the tasks at hand. Because I think of myself as a pretty productive guy, my failure wasn't a tough to admit to myself, but it taught me an essential lesson. Doing mindless stuff at work or at home is not only unproductive but also a sign you don't have enough important work. This also accounts for why busy work can get aside. When you're on a deadline, there is no time available to contain its expansion. This advice is counterintuitive, and the very idea will turn you off if you already feel you are working at capacity. But it's worth considering. When you do knowledge work for a living, we procrastinate. Spending time and attention on email and social media doesn't make us feel productive in our work, but lead us to accomplish little. The greater your working memory capacity, the more information you can hold. At the same time, and a greater your ability to process complex tasks. A higher working memory capacity has been shown to reduce the mind wandering when you're focused on a complex tasks. A larger attention space also helps you get back on track quicker after your mind wanders or you become distracted. So how exactly do you spend the size of your attention space? There is, however, one practice that has been proven in study after study to increase working memory capacity: meditation. In practice, it's actually quite simple. Like in hyperfocus, meditation involves continually returning your focus on a single object of attention, usually your breath. As soon as you notice your mind has wandered from it, how much control you have over the attention. This eventually enables you to improve each measure of the quality of your attention. You'll be able to focus for longer, your mind will wander less, and you will be able to work with greater attention. You experience this same benefit during hyperfocus. Like meditation, hyperfocus is a practice that compounds upon itself. The more you practice, the more you learn to manage your attention, and the longer you're able to focus on the next time around. Meditation is simple. Sit somewhere with your eyes closed and pay attention to your breath. It's natural to feel as if you are doing it wrong. I think I read this part right. Okay, I'm going to read this one here. It's much better for me as I can remember. Okay. Because of this, you likely didn't have many surrounding distractions. Your work phone may happen in another room, and you may have made a commitment to disconnect for the weekend. Your family may have agreed to a phone-free dinner. You're probably also in a more relaxed state, and because of this, didn't seek novel stimuli in your environment. You can focus with relative ease on when you're doing. Hyperfocus was the best term I could come with and describe this instead of being totally focused on one thing. I like to do this by setting 3 personal daily intentions and leads to my 3 work goals. Even if one happens to be binge watching a show on Netflix. One area I've noticed that particularly benefits from hyperfocus is conversations. The secret to deep, meaningful conversation is simple. Bring your complete attention to the person you're speaking with. You can do this in many ways, such as by allowing someone to finish talking before you start. A simple but highly underutilized technique. I'm convinced that most people have a sixth sense, and they can tell when you're truly paying attention to them. It's a remarkable thing when you spend not just in a quality time with someone, but quality attention as well. Spending our time at home more purposefully also enables us to feel recharged, whether at work or at home. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your life. At work, the more attention you give to what's in front of you, the more productive you become. At home, the more attention you devote to what's in front of you, the more meaningful your life becomes. Starting previous enough momentum to carry out our attentions. When we begin a new task, working on it for it, at least in 1 minute with purposeful attention and the limited distractions is critical. Here are my 4 favorite strategies for battling this initial resistance. Minimize the amount of time you will dedicate to focusing on one task until you no longer feel mental resistance to it. You always have time, you just spend it on other things. If the task swap shows you do have the time, chances are this is just your resistance to talking. Incorporate at least one hyper-focusing interval each day. You will experience less resistance as you get accustomed to working with fewer distractions and appreciate how productive you'll become. Hyper-focusing can be utterly energizing. You spend less energy regulating your behavior when you don't have to continue to resist distractions and push yourself to focus on what's important. That said, resisting the ritual can also be a sign you need a recharge. So we can stop working on mindless and autopilot mode. Hyper-focusing on our most complex, productive tasks lets us activate the most productive mode of our brains and get a large amount of accomplished in a short amount of time. Setting strong daily attentions lets us work on our most productive tasks, creating a personalized distraction-free mood and reduce the distractions in mood. Let's also work in a more focus and clarity while directing our time and attention away from needless distractions. Simplifying our working and living environments lets us think more clearly. Becoming good custodians of our attention space by making out our work more complex when necessary and by expanding the limits of our attention help us properly manage our limited attention. I hope you've already become more productive, more engaged with your work and life, and a clearer and a calmer thinker. You probably also remember more and view your work and your life as more meaningful. All 3 measures of the quality of your attention have also likely increased you spend more of your time deliberately. You're able to focus longer in one sitting, and your mind doesn't wander from your intentions nearly as much. Both the practical and the tactical. I hope you will agree. Attention is the most important ingredient we have to living a good, productive life. I call this mode scatter focus because in it, our attention scatters to focus on nothing in particular. While hyperfocus involves directing your attention outward, scatter focus is about directing it inward, inside your own mind. Wow, my dog is sneezing. Oh my god, it's so loud. Okay, just as hyperfocus is the most productive mode of the brain, Scattered focus is the most creative. Scattered focus can derail our productive when our original intent is to focus. But when you are coming up with a creative solution to a problem, planning for our future, or making a difficult decision, it is just as essential as a hyperfocus. We can harness the remarkable benefits of a scattered focus by practicing intentional mind wandering. Scatter focus, but daydreaming is immensely potent when our intention is to solve problems, think more creatively, brainstorm new habits, new ideas, or recharge. As far as boosting our creativity is concerned, mind wandering is in a league of its own. Think about your last creative insight. Chances are you weren't focusing on one thing. In fact, you probably weren't focusing on much at all. You may have been taking an extra long shower, having a walk, during a lunch break, visiting a museum, reading a book, and relaxing on the beach with a drink or two. Maybe you were sipping your morning coffee. Then, like a flash of lightning, a brilliant idea struck out of nowhere. Your brain mysteriously chose this moment. Oh, I think in a wire reading. My brain mysteriously chose this moment. Okay, when you are resting and recharging to a connected view of any constellations and of dust, let's consider that to be any idea or piece of information you remember swirling in your head. Just as high focus is your brain's most productive mode, scatter focus is most creative. Oh, entering scatter focus mode is easy. You simply let your mind be, just as in hyper focus way intentionally directing your attention toward one thing. You scatter focus by deliberately letting your mind wander. You enter this mode whenever you leave attention space free around what you're doing in that moment. Whether going for a run, biking, or investing time in anything that doesn't consume your full attention or space. When it comes to productivity and creativity, scatter focus enables you to do three powerful things at once. Your brain automatically plans for the future. When you rest, you just need to give it the space and the time to do so. Scatter focus lets you recharge. Focusing on tasks all day consumes a good deal of your mental energy. Even when you are managing and defending your attentional space using the tactics set out in part 1. Scatter focus replenishes that supply so you can focus for longer. Okay, scatter focus. Scatter focus fosters creativity. The mode that helps you to connect all ideas and create new ones. Flush incubating thoughts in the surface of your attention space and lets you piece together solutions and problems. Scattering your attention and focusing on nothing in particular supercharges the thought connecting parts of your brain. The more creativity your job or a project requires, the more you should deliberately deploy scatter focus. While it's easy to get excited about becoming highly productive and hyper-focused, scattering our attention is less exciting, at least on the space surface. When you are surrounded by so many novel and stimulating objects and attention, most of us don't want to be left alone with our thoughts. We focused on certain objects of attention by default, and in doing so is what has allowed the human species to survive. We've already discussed in the first type an objective attention, and it draws us in anything that's novel. This is what makes our smartphones and other devices so enticing. While we find less of a task like writing a report boring, regardless of how much they let us accomplish. The wiring in our brain that is evolutionary past led us to strong sugars and have a sex and survival mechanism now leads us to overindulge in fast food and pornography. Continually scanning for threats is what compels us to dwell on that one negative email or overthink or careless and offer hands and comment from our boss. Oh my god, I feel so hungry and tired. I think I should eat first. Okay. Anyway, how many minutes are left? 8 minutes, okay. Continually scanning for the threats and what compels us to dwell on that one negative email and overthink careless and offended comments from our boss. What once aided our chances of survival now sabotages and productivity and creativity in the modern world. It makes us the most urgent tasks feel a lot more important than they actually are. Okay, it affords us the ability to plan for the future, learn from the past, and have daydreams and spawn remarkable insights. Whether we are solving a math problem or telling the server how we usually take our acts, most remarkable skill focus enable us to step back from life and to work and live more intentionally. When your mind wanders, it visits in three main spaces: the past, the present, and the future. This is precisely why scattering your attention allows your creativity flourish as you travel through time and connecting what you've learned to what you are doing or what you want to achieve. This enables you to work with greater intention as you consider your future and to think about what you should be doing in the present to make it a reality. Oh, that's why when I just become creative, always while you're reading actually, so time I couldn't stay focused right away. I needed time to read more. And during that time, usually I can remember random memories in the past. So I didn't know why, but I could just feel that before I just kind of immerse myself to read. Like usually I can just remember random things that happened in the past. Yeah, so I experienced it. Oh my god, my voice. I feel so tired and then I feel so hungry. Okay, how many minutes? 6 minutes. Okay, I can do it. Fun fact: 38% of our past-related thoughts connected with early in the day events. 42% related to previous days. Oh, and 20% involve ruminating on what happened in the more distant past. Okay, our mind is wired to not only perceive but also remember threats like that one negative email that we can't forget. Oh, that's true. It does this so we learn from our mistakes, though it becomes annoying when it throws in random memories at us throughout the day. On some level, these past thoughts speak to the power of scattered focus. When we daydream, we often express our thoughts as if they were real. Cringe-worthy memories strike from out of the blue, hijack our attention, and lead us to tense up at the stupid stuff we've said and done. Wandering thoughts about what we're currently working on usually prove to be fairly productive. We need to reflect on our tasks in order to work more deliberately. Neurologically speaking, it's impossible to both focus on something and reflect on that thing at the same time. This makes entering scatter focus critical. Without entering scatter focus mode, you never think about the future. It's only once you step back from writing an email, drafting a paper, or planning your budget that you can consider alternative approaches to the task. This mode also enables us to better weigh the consequences of each decision and path. In thinking about the future, we flick off autopilot mode and have the space to step back and consider how we want to act before our habits and routines make the decision for us. As well as helping your plan for the future, recharge, and connect ideas. Research suggested that scatter focus mode also leads you to become more self-aware, incubate ideas more deeply, remember and process ideas and the meaningful experiences more effectively, reflect on the meaning of your experiences, show greater empathy. Scatter focus gives any space to step into other people's shoes and become more compassionate. In one respect, scatter focus is an odd mental mode to write about, as you need some instructions for how to let your mind wander. While hyperfocusing can be difficult, we already spend 47% of our day in something similar to scatter focus mode without any effort. Whenever our focus left us and our attention wanders. There are two ways your mind wanders, unintentionally and intentionally. Unintentional wandering takes place without your awareness, when you don't choose to enter into the mode. This is where I draw the line between the mind wandering and the scatter focus. Scatter focus is always intentional. Intention is what makes a scatter focus so powerful. This mode is always deployed deliberately and involves making a connected effort to notice where your mind goes. Of the three styles, capture mode is the best for identifying what's on your mind. Problem crunching mode is best for mulling a specific problem or idea, and the habitual mode is best in recharging and connecting to the greatest number of ideas. This practice is simple as in sitting with a copy, a pen, and a notebook, and waiting to see what rises to the surface of my consciousness. By the end of the process, my notebook is invariably full. I've scribbled the names of people I shouldn't follow up with, stuff I've been waiting to do, and also follow up about a list of people I should reconnect with. Solutions to two problems, tasks I've forgotten, house chores, intentions I should set, and more. I usually feel energized at the end of this little ritual because I've given my mind a break. Projects and a commitment weighing heavily on our mind. Perhaps because it brings views and threats in capture mode and unsolved ideas, and a project's move to the forefront of your mind, ready to be written down and then acted upon later. Our mind's propensity to wander toward these unsolved ideas is, in part, what makes the scatter focus valuable. The open loops become much more accessible.